And it's like I've always had so many instances where like in Berryessa in general, like bad shit happens to me all the time. And like I've gone on islands where I've gone on one of those rock islands that are there, and it was weird. There was an island full of geese for some reason. Like this was the island of geese. It was Geese Isle, and this is where all the geese went to procreate and everything. And I walk up and I go on this island. I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, there's geese. I can fuck with geese. And so I'm kind of walking around, and I walk over and I see this like fucking massacre, like just fucking massacre of just dead geese, crushed eggs, and just geese, just other living geese standing around it, just looking. Like it was a fucking like murder scene, and there was like.
It's because they did the black lottery, and that person drew the piece of paper that had the spot on it, so they had to stone it to death.
Yeah, and so, like they fucking like all the other geese are looking around it, and I'm expecting one of the geese to whip out sunglasses and just like yeah or something, because they're doing a police investigation of this murder scene, and they're sitting there and they're making sounds to each other, so they're talking. I'm assuming they're like. I'm like, are they actually assessing the situation? And I start kind of like, I'm sitting at like a distance because I don't want to go up to geese. Geese are fucking weird.
They're mean too.
Yeah, they're
geese
mean.
are fucking
so
mean.
I'm standing there and they fucking they're all doing their honking and geese and shit, and they just do this like stop, like they're all in the middle of like honking, and they just stop.
Like you walked into some sort of Western bar.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
And they stop and they all look at me, and I'm like, I got two things going on with the situation. One, I'm a human being on Geese Isle. Two, there's a dead goose and a human being on the island. I probably look like number one suspect right here. I should probably fucking leave. And I turn around and I start walking away, and I hear a couple of geese following me.
Andrew was a murder suspect.
I was a murder suspect for geese. And so I start walking.
For the geese murder?
I start hearing geese walking behind me. And I would
you
stop.
hear their little flippers?
Yeah, it's like I hear rustling in the ground. Just and I stop, and they would stop. They keep walking. They would keep walking. And I'm like, and I turn around, and they act like nothing's going on. I turn around, and they just like, I'm like, and so I look at this.
Andrew got trolled by geese.
I got trolled by geese, and I look. No, it's even better than this. I look and I go, okay, I'm about like probably a good maybe 12 feet away from my boat. I could probably run that distance. I could make it to my boat by the time these geese could catch me. And so I start doing a thing like, haha, I'm a human being. I've got fucking legs. You got waddles. I'm gonna take big strides.
You got waddles?
It's like, you got a waddle. I can walk. I'm gonna take strides, and you guys have to waddle, and I can stride. So I'm fucking taking huge ass steps. And so I'm taking these huge like.
Geese can fly, bitch.
Yeah. And so.
I don't think he thought that far.
No,
ahead.
they didn't fly. They didn't fly at all. They were calm. They were very calm about this. They were like, we were gonna figure out what happened here. And so more geese started following me. And I'm like, okay, so now they're picking up the pace. They're going, we see what's going on here. We're not going to fight you.
Zombie invasion.
Yeah, they're like, we're keeping calm. We know we don't want to panic you because you're going to run, human, but you're a suspect in this murder investigation. We need you to stay here for a little bit.
What the fuck is up with your head?
Questioning. And that's all that's going through my mind. I'm like, holy fuck, I just walked into Goose CSI version. And so I'm like trying to walk, and I look at my stepfather, and I'm like signaling, turn on the boat. And he looks at me, and he's like, hey, you got a lot of geese following behind you. And I go, shh, turn on the boat.
You know that when they catch you, the jury's going to be wondering why you ran.
That's why I had the boat turned on. And so he looks at me and he like yells, so I stop. I have to say that. I like stop. Because now I'm like, great, now they know what I'm doing because now he's communicating. They see the boat. Now they know what's going on. The geese are aware of my situation. And so I stop and I don't hear them anymore walking, and I hear them just doing their casual, like pretending this is I feel like I stepped into like I'm an adventurer and I walk into a town, but I'm an outcast, and so everybody pretends like nothing is going on, like I don't exist until I start walking, and then
I used to be an adventurer like you until I generated a terrible meme.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there and I hear my stepfather turn the boat on, and he yells, he goes, "Are you bringing the geese with you?" I go, no, I'm coming, and he goes, okay, but I can't really pull out of this area, so I kind of have to go first. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, I'm gonna have to leave and then come back, and so that way you can hop in the boat, because I can't hop back in the way I got out because I just hopped out of the front, but I can't hop back onto the front of it because it's on it was on a ledge, like on a cliff kind of thing. So I hopped down really far, but I can't hop back up that far.
So he left you alone to get torn apart like at the beginning of Jurassic Park 2.
Pretty much. He leaves, but he looks at me and he goes like, "Are you gonna be okay with the geese?" And I go, "I think I should be good." And he goes, "Okay, good. I gotta do something real quick." And he fucking drives off. I was like, no, I didn't mean that. Okay, I didn't mean that. Okay. And I turn around. And the geese are sitting there. They're looking at me like the geese have just figured out the situation that is going on. They're just like, "We have now become fully aware that you are fucked, my good sir. And you will answer for the heinous geese crimes that you have committed today on this island." I'm like, "Dude, I am a guest. I have never been here before. This was a
That's fucking racial profiling.
Yeah, that's racial profiling." And so I start like
species profiling.
and I start backing up. I start backing up towards the water, to where like the cliff is to the water. And I start backing up, and the geese start, because it's an island of geese, so they're aware of their island. So they start kind of doing the shifting situation where they start like making a circle again.
Oh God!
And so I'm like, I know geese are violent, and I know geese can fly, but how good are they at swimming?
They're
And
actually
so
really good swimmers.
they're actually really good swimmers. So
did you find this out the hard way?
No, I didn't, thankfully. I found this out the mediocre way, where it was, I started backing up till I got to the cliff. I look, and I'm sitting there, and these geese are just kind of, they're not coming closer to me, they're just sitting at a distance, like trying to check me out.
Like watching you?
Yeah, like watching me. And I'm sitting there, and
They're
I'm kind of,
observing
like, I have my
you.
They're
arms...
like the mannequins from Condemned.
Yeah, and I have, like, my arms crossed, and there's one fucking goose just sitting at the fucking dead crime scene, still sitting there, looking at me, but still making sure that nothing else happens.
He's got a scapegoat.
Yeah, like, no, he's like sitting there making sure no one tampers with the scene, but he's still watching me to make sure that I don't come back.
He did it.
Yeah, but he's like
I've
watching
seen enough
it.
of these movies.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this island. Like, this island is fucking small. There's just nothing but geese. I don't know how the fuck this started happening. I want to go the fuck home. And so I'm looking. I see
That's when you start throwing rocks.
There's no rocks. These geese have thought of everything.
Bullshit. You're at Berryessa.
There's
rocks everywhere.
The rocks were on the beach. It was on a cliff. It was on like this hill area.
You got all those like reverse alluvial fans there and shit. There's rocks everywhere. That's the most poorly sorted sediment we got around.
It was not a good place to be. And so I finally see my stepfather come back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming back, blah, blah." And he's like, "Burn." And so I look at him, and I tell him to stop where he is. And he stops. And the geese look at me kind of suspicious, like, "Eh." And I look at them, and I go, like, I think of, like, the most typical, like, 90s action die-hard shit. I go, and I look at them,
motherfucker!
and I look back, and I make sure that I'm in a deep part of the area, and I look at them, and I jump back, and I flip them off, and I, like, fall in, and I start swimming, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a boss. I just did 90s shit, hardcore. I got away from a murder scene, and geese can
I just assumed you were going to start walking through glass barefoot.
No. And so I start swimming to the boat, and my dad looks at me, and my stepdad looks at me, "Are you sure you're not bringing the geese with you?" And I'm like, "No, why?" And he's like, "'Cause they're following you." And I look around, and there's fucking geese swimming near me. I'm like, "What the fuck? These guys are fucking all over." And so I dive underwater, because I'm like, geese can't swim underwater.
Yes, they can.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, fuck you. I figured this out too. And so I'm swimming underwater, and I'm still swimming, and I hear...
What? Even if they couldn't swim underwater, what part of going underwater helps you in any way?
Because I'm assuming that because I can see where I'm going, so I'm going to swim underwater until I swim on the other side of the boat, and then I'm going to pull myself.
I would never swim under a boat. Fucking propellers and shit.
The boat was off.
You will die.
The boat was off.
I don't go near propellers even if they're off. I don't give a shit.
You're right, hella paranoid about that.
I'm used to propellers. So I was going to dive underneath and go on the other side.
I saw that episode of Happy Tree Friends where the little bunny thing gets its like face grinded off.
I don't want to. It turns out that's not the case. That geese, they can swim underwater, but they will not do it in the event that is not prior or dire to them to do so. So I go underwater, I swim underneath the boat, I get on the other side, I pull myself up, and I tell my dad, "We need to get the fuck out of here." And he looks at me and he goes, "Well, there's a couple of geese." And I said, "I think I walked into a bad situation, and we need to go." And my dad looks at me, my stepdad looks at me like I'm the stupidest person on the planet again. Like, he literally thinks I'm like...
You kind of are.
And he looks at me like, they're just fucking geese. And he learns a lesson of the error of his ways. One of the geese hop on the fucking boat. And the goose is just sitting there looking at me. And I look at him and I say, "This motherfucking goose should not be on our boat." And he looks at me and he goes, "Get the fuck off." And he like goes to swat the goose. And the goose gets hella fucking pissed. And crack, crack, crack. And all these other geese start swimming around the boat. And he goes, "Holy fuck, this is a bad situation." He goes, "Okay, I'm sorry for making fun of you, but we need to go." And I look at him like, "We should have been gone 5 minutes ago. This is your fucking fault." And he turns on the propeller. And the geese get like the geese are like the mafia here at this point, where they circle the car or circle the boat. And my stepfather looks at me and he goes, he refers to me as if I know the fucking laws. And he goes, is it illegal to run over geese? And I go, I don't fucking know. And he goes, who cares? And he fucking pulls it. And he starts going towards the geese. The goose on the back is like sitting on the part, like the part on the boat where it dips down.
The poop deck.
And
I don't know.
it's that part where you can sit on where the propeller's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting on that. And so the goose is just sitting there, and it's not falling off.
It's chilling.
It's just chilling. And so we're looking.
Deal with it.
Yeah, and so we're driving off. The rest of the geese are gone. We're like, we eluded them. And we look back and we're like, but there's still that goose. What do we do about him? And my dad looks and he goes, take the fucking thing for a second. My stepfather.
Just
he goes,
grab an oar.
No, he grabs.
No.
Batter up.
He grabs a water gun that we have. He grabs a water gun. And it's a fucking boss water gun. It's one of those kinds that
The one that you have to pull out and fill it up like a syringe.
No. It's like a super soaker, but it's a super soaker that we bought in it's a limited edition one where you had 2 pumps on it because it fills one thing with air and 2 things with air, and it shoots it at such a velocity it'll rip your fucking skin off. Because I swear to God, as a kid, that hurt like a motherfucker when people shot me. And he pumps it up twice, as fast as he fucking can, and he takes it out and he looks at the geese.
Goose.
The goose. And he looks and he says, "Sayonara, fucker." And he presses it and he shoots a goose. And the goose, the goose takes the bull, takes it like a boss. The goose takes it and fucking flaps back and flows itself forward to take the hit. And at this point, I tell you what I did. He takes it. The goose takes it and fucking waddles back a little bit like it's gonna fall over and steadies. And I go, this is it. This is the moment of my life where I've come to where this reality and fiction have just blended to create the most ridiculous story that no one will ever believe me for. So I said,
I don't believe any of these stories by default because they involve you going outside.
Thanks. So at this point I go, okay, there's only 2 situations, there's one situation I can make this better so that people will believe this actually happened. And so I walked over and kicked the goose off the boat. And it was fine.
Derp.
But because it was getting weird. That goose was a fucking Matrix man. I was not okay. I walk into the weirdest situation. I've never, ever seen that kind of weird attitude with a geese. The last time I've ever been attacked by a goose, every time I've last been attacked by a bird was a turkey, goose, duck.
What?
I don't know what it had. The head of a turkey. The body.
Geese can get pretty fucking territorial though.
They can. It had the head of a turkey because it had the little waddle and everything. But it was
like the platypus of birds.
Yeah, but it was white like a goose, and it
might
was.
Have been an albino turkey.
No, because it didn't make a turkey sound. It made a goose sound.
It made a tiger sound.
But it looked like this goose got it looked like someone did the human centipede with a goose kind of thing. Where they're like, let's see what happens if we fucking take the head off and put a turkey head on it.
They got a Frankenstein.
Oh, Frankenstein, sorry.
Human centipede is a very different kind of turkey.
Sorry. And and so I thought my instinct as a kid is always to throw rocks, ask questions later. And so I looked at it, I was like, oh look, it's walking with the other geese, but it thinks it's a goose, but it's not because it's a turkey and it's ugly as fuck. So I take a rock and I throw it at it, and my father, my real father, looks at me and he goes, why are you throwing rocks at the birds? He's like, don't do that because they're gonna hurt you. And I said, but that one's a turkey. Turkeys don't attack people because we're better.
Surprise!
We're better than people. And he goes, that's not a fucking turkey, son. Look at that thing. And I look at it and
it's
I go,
it's a chupacabra.
And he looks. He goes, I'm not sure what it is, but I'll tell you it's not a turkey, and I'll tell you it will attack you. And I'm like,
it sounds like a demon from Dark Souls.
Yeah, and I looked at him. I was like, I don't really think so. And I threw another rock at it, and it started.
And then you lost your toe.
It started chasing me around this little lake area, and then I got saved by a duck who was in the middle of having sex with another duck. and because I'm a person, so I got.
Was
bigger.
it Darkwing Duck?
No, I'm a bigger person, so I got bigger.
He always dressed like a pimp.
So I got bigger hops than a turkey goose. And so I saw these ducks. I saw these ducks on the shore, and they were kind of doing the thing. And I was like, well, shit, I don't want to be a dick. So I hopped over them. The goose ran fucking into him. And one of the ducks got hella mad about it. He was like, cock blocker.
Probably the male.
And he started just bickering, attacking the fucking goose, and they just distracted each other, and I just fucking ran. But I don't know what it was. It was weird.
It was a gurkey.
Okay, I'll take that. It was gurky.
It
was weird though. After the ducks, it was weird. Because after when ducks have sex, it's like they choke the females. The ducks choke the female ducks while they're having sex, and it's weird because sometimes they'll choke the females out, and then just put them on the shore. And I was leaving the park with my dad, and one of the ducks come over with another duck.
That's birth control. You leave her ready for predators, and you just take off.
And but the duck the duck had
duck
another
control.
duck in its mouth, and it dragged it to shore and dropped it there. And I looked at my dad. I was like, "Did that duck just kill another duck?" And my dad looked at me like, "Oh, that's what ducks do when they have sex." And I was like, "No,
it's a were-duck.
I legitimately
the vampire of ducks or something.
Yeah, I was like, I legitimately think that duck just killed another duck. And I was like, we need to alert somebody of this horrendous crime, and that's not okay. No, ducks shouldn't be killing other ducks.
That duck should have been on Van Helsing.
and it was funny because my dad thought it was his idea of hey, I'm gonna show my son that he's an idiot. Was he walked over and he started pushing the duck, and the duck woke up in this tizzy of I was in the middle of a good sex, and now there's a human pushing me. And it wakes up and starts fucking doing this dance with its wings. It starts flapping one wing and flapping the other wing, and it hits him in the face, and he's like and bites his finger, and it flies off. And
it's like the ducks experienced a surprise Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, and so the duck just bites him and flies off, and my dad's like, oh god, and he's in pain, and I look and I go, oh, I believe you now, it's not dead, Dad. And so I'm walking away.
You're such an ass.
My dad was hella mad. He's just he's like, you fucking asshole. He's like, I'm never checking shit for you ever again. And I was like, okay, I guess. It's just one of those weird, I don't know. That's why I don't go to parks, man. I don't trust nature. I don't.
Geese are freaky though.
No.
We went to Rockville Park, and my brother was running around like a jackass, just scaring ducks away and stuff. But he runs up to these geese, and they don't fucking back up a sec. Both geese just fan up their feathers like some sort of fucking a peacock or something, and just hiss at him. He tries to backpedal, but it's muddy, so he just slides at them basically and falls on his ass, and turns on a dime and just sprints away. And they're they won. The end. badass geese. There we go.
Or there's
You don't fuck with the the Rockville geese.
There's Blue Rock Springs in Vallejo, and it's there's tons of peacocks there. They've actually got on the road they've got peacock crossing signs. But one time I was there and I was feeding because they have ducks and geese there too. I'm feeding the ducks and the geese, and there's this little kid, never seen before in my life, never seen him afterwards. This little kid, he's throwing rocks at this peacock.
Oh.
And it was one of the male peacocks.
What could go wrong?
Male ones are the ones with the big color,
ones, yeah.
the big colorful feathers.
Don't fucking nigga up.
They did. They did.
I've been bitten by
He's
peacocks.
throwing rocks at it. And I asked him what are you doing? He's I want to see it open its. He's I want to see it open its wings.
Then shake your ass. It's gotta be a female.
Because he's an idiot.
Pulls it out for females, man.
Because he's an idiot and he thinks the fans
bend over.
the wings. Okay, I don't know.
What do you think is a defensive mechanism? You think the peacock's to be trying to.
Well, it
Well,
is.
there are some animals that do
is.
it, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought the
It is,
peacock,
but he says he's trying to get it to open its wings
I
because
thought
he
the
thinks
peacock does it for mating. I didn't know.
they do it because they do it
For
to
both.
impress the females. They also do it to be intimidating because
it
it
makes
makes
them
them
look really
seem very
big.
large.
Put by your
Not to a
shirt.
person who's big.
Well, no, this was a little fucking 6-year-old kid.
Oh man, I could have taken the 6-year-old.
It was bigger than the 6-year-old.
Exactly.
Let me finish. So he's
get
chucking
eaten.
rocks at it, and I asked him what he's doing. He said he's trying to get it to open its wings, and
That peacock's
first
gonna
off,
eat
it's
well
not.
tonight.
First off, it's not its fucking wings. I was like, it's not out. I'm like,
You corrected
it's
him
not
as he's
gonna.
throwing
I'm
rocks
like,
at him. Apparently he's not
I'm
the
like,
smartest kid.
I was like,
Don't
it's not
correct
its
him.
wings. I was like, it's just feathers on its. I was like, it's just feathers on its back. He's like, well, I want to see it, and he's chucking these fucking rocks at the peacock, and I was like, they're vicious. It will attack you. And he just, no, it won't, and he chucks a rock and it hits it square in the fucking head, and the fucking peacock just lost it. It fluffed up its plume of feathers and everything, and it makes it made this horrible screeching noise that I've never heard a peacock make before. It scared the shit out of me.
It's called backup.
And I didn't do shit, but it scared the crap out of me. I'm just feeding the fucking ducks. It scared me, and it makes this horrible, seriously sound like a little girl dying. It was this horrid screeching noise, and it just
So it sounds like Andrew's video game.
It just charges this fucking little kid.
Oh, at least it didn't pick you as enemy too.
No, it could get
Did you
two
grab a
shits
camera?
it could get two shits
Yeah, that's
about
YouTube
me.
quality right there.
It charges this little kid, and he's trying to run away.
Go for the eyes.
He's trying to run away, but the fucking Peacocks faster than he is, and it essentially like tackles the little kid. It like runs at the little kid. It hits the little kid. The little boy falls on the floor, and it like runs over it, and it starts pecking it. It starts pecking the little kid.
Dope.
And the little kid's like sitting there screaming like for his dad.
Like a screaming kid.
No, for his screaming help and like screaming and help me and blah 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 and everything.
And what are you doing this whole time, laughing?
Laughing my fucking ass off.
Good for you.
And feeding the ducks. I was still
Feeding the ducks?
I was still feeding the ducks. They
Hey, you
didn't
guys
do
want to get
nothing.
on this here? Okay, somebody get on in this.
I was still feeding the ducks. But
It
no,
just gives me this weird picture of like
okay.
the fucking Oracle from Matrix. Like there's a war going on. She's baking cookies. Just watching it happen. No biggie.
Like, yeah,
Don't worry about the face.
He's screaming and yelling and screaming for help and everything. And his dad comes over and his dad had a wiffle ball bat, like the plastic yellow bats. And
Cool. This story gets to have funny sound effects now.
he whacks the
Whoop, whoop.
and he doesn't hit it hard. He just like kind of
You can't hit something hard with a wiffle bat.
He just kind of whacks it, and the
balls.
obviously this little kid's dad's bigger than the peacock,
I
and
would
the
hope
peacock
so.
obviously
It was the midget family.
Is it tiny
They're
too?
fucked.
the peacock notices it is outmatched.
It's
After
Thumbelina's
it gets
family.
hit, he hits it with the wiffle ball bat. The peacock looks up, sees the dad, realizes it's gonna lose, and just calmly walks away. It was happy. It beat up the kid that was throwing rocks at it.
Was the kid bleeding?
Just walks. Yes, the kid's shirt was all ripped up and he was bleeding. Like the
Did
fucking.
he say anything to you? Did dad say anything to you?
Huh? No, the dad looked pissed off, to be perfectly honest. Like he helped his I don't know if that was his dad or not. He didn't really specify, but he helped the kid up.
Specify.
He helped the kid up. No, he was just screaming help, help. That's all he kept screaming was for someone to help him. I wasn't gonna do it because he was an idiot and he deserved it. I'm assuming it was
Right.
I'm assuming it was the dad. Picks
That's how
him
kids
up
are, though.
And
They
he gives him the patented "you're a fucking idiot" type look, and just like helps him up and like pushes him and starts walking behind him. He's just got the "you're a fucking idiot" look on his face.
To the kid?
To the kid, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant to you.
No, to the kid. Doesn't say shit to me. Doesn't look at me. Doesn't acknowledge me whatsoever. I'm still over in the corner laughing my ass off while feeding the ducks. But
Oh,
no, the
man.
dad,
It's a big-
the dad did not acknowledge me at all. The dad looked pissed off that he had to come save his son from getting attacked from
I
a
would be
fucking
too.
peacock.
Like
Don't be
that's
a
a
bitch.
big part of why I really can't stand dealing with children is because up until like basically early teenage years, you just haven't fully developed that part of your brain that takes care of impulse control. So you have these people that are essentially like borderline retarded, and I just don't want to deal with them ever. And like you can't reason with them because like that they don't have those faculties basically.
Peacocks are kind of funny though. Peacocks were we saw a bunch of peacocks when we went up to this camping place, and
They like gummy bears, by the way.
they also they like gummy bears.
There's tons of
they
them
like crackers
at,
too. They love fucking
oh,
crackers.
yeah, they love any type of bread product,
Yeah.
but no, they like pickles.
Because I was feeding
They like
peacocks,
pickles.
and one of the peacocks, like, I fed all the crackers to it. I was like, okay, I got no more crackers, guys. And so I was like, oh, I don't got any more crackers. And one of the peacocks looks at me and goes like, we got a finger. And he like bit my finger. I was like, ow, hey. Like, no, that's not food. I was like, whoa. And like they start like getting closer to you, like food.
Yeah.
And I look at my grandma.
Mine?
Can I get some bread, grandma? And she's like, okay. And I take like the fucking bread and I break it up and I fucking chuck it hella far. And they're like, ah. And I like they go on the other direction. I'm like, oh, I get up and run away. It's like, oh, peacocks are a little hungry. But peacocks are kind of cool though. They're actually pretty nice if you just like.
They're super nice because there's tons of them at Napa.
Yeah.
At Napa College, and that's how I figured out they like gummy bears and pickles.
Fuck?
Like,
Except she wasn't there for when they died.
I took random snacks to fucking school, okay? And like I used to feed them. And no, they're really nice. Like, there was one I always fed, and I knew it was the same one because it had a scar.
Oh.
It had a
Peacock
scar.
boss.
No, yeah, it did. It had
It's been a fight.
He had a scar on his face, probably.
He's covered wars, you know.
Probably no. He had a scar on his head, like I guess like where like his cheek area would be. I guess if peacocks had cheeks, I don't know. Like he had a scar on his face. I'm assuming from like a fight with like another male peacock because it was a male peacock.
Yes, he was a winner.
And I would always feed him. And there was a couple times he actually like came up really close to me and literally ate out of my hand and would like let me pet him.
Oh, pet him?
Yeah,
That's
let me
weird.
pet him. He was like super cool.
She later found out that it was animatronic.
No, it was not.
There was just someone creepy just watching you the whole time.
You know what? I wouldn't surprise me.